SEAL Commander came just to watch, until the SEAL Commander saw her tattoo and fell silent. The crowd gathered early that morning. Families filled the bleachers, cameras ready, flags waving softly in the ocean breeze. It was graduation day at the naval base, the day new warriors would officially earn their place among the elite. No one expected anything unusual. Until she arrived. She didn't wear a military uniform. She didn't sit with the VIP families. She didn't even try to stand out. She simply came to watch. A young woman in a plain jacket and jeans, her hair pulled back neatly, moving quietly through the stands before settling into a seat near the back. To anyone else, she was just another spectator. Maybe a sister, maybe a girlfriend, maybe someone curious about the ceremony. But she watched differently. Carefully. Intensely. Down on the field, rows of Navy SEAL candidates stood in perfect formation. Months of brutal training had carved discipline into their posture. Among them stood Commander Ethan Cole, a seasoned SEAL leader known for his composure under pressure. He had seen everything. Combat deployments. Plus. Victory. Sacrifice. Nothing rattled him anymore. Or so he believed. The ceremony began. Names were called. Families cheered. Medals were pinned. The air carried pride and relief in equal measure. Commander Cole scanned the stands out of habit, a leader always observing, always assessing. And that's when he saw her. At first, nothing seemed unusual, until she lifted her arms slightly to adjust her sleeve. The movement was small, but it revealed something unmistakable. Black ink against her wrist. Not decorative. Not random. It was a symbol few outside the Brotherhood would ever recognize. A specific insignia worn by members of a classified joint operation years ago. An operation that officially never happened. Commander Cole froze. His voice paused mid-sentence. The applause faded in his ears. His eyes locked onto the ink. Impossible. Every operative from that mission had been accounted for. Every name documented. Every loss remembered. And yet, there was. On the wrist of a civilian sitting quietly in the stands. She didn't smile. Didn't wave. Didn't seek attention. She simply watched the ceremony unfold, as if she belonged there in a way no one else understood. Cole's jaw tightened. His mind raced back to the desert night. To the extraction point. To the radio going silent. To the name they never found. The crowd noticed the pause. A lieutenant stepped closer, whispering, "Sir?" Commander Cole didn't answer immediately, because for the first time in years, he wasn't seeing the present. He was seeing a memory. And that tattoo meant only one thing. Someone connected to that mission was still out there. Alive. And sitting in his stands. The ceremony continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. Cole finished his speech with mechanical precision, yet his eyes returned again and again to the woman in the back row. She remained still. Almost waiting. He had led men through firefights without hesitation. But now, standing on a peaceful graduation field, something felt far more unsettling. Who was she? And how did she carry a mark that should not exist? The ceremony ended in applause. Families rushed the field. Cameras flashed. Laughter echoed across the base. But Commander Ethan Cole didn't move. His eyes remained fixed on the back row of the stands. She was still there. Composed. Watching the celebration like someone observing history repeat itself. "Sir," his executive officer asked quietly, "everything all right?" Cole didn't answer. Because everything was not all right. That too. It wasn't just ink. It was a classified insignia from a joint black operation task force deployed 8 years ago. An operation so covert its existence was buried beneath layers of clearance. Only 12 operatives carried that mark. Only 12. And according to official records, only 11 came home. Cole remembered that night vividly. The sandstorm. The failed extraction. The name that echoed over broken comms before silence swallowed it whole. Mason Reyes. Declared Kia. Body never recovered. The task force had carried the guilt like a shadow ever since. And now, that symbol was on the wrist of a civilian woman sitting quietly in the stands. Cole made his decision. "Keep the unit here," he ordered calmly. "I'll handle something." He stepped off the stage, moving with the same measured precision he carried into combat. Through clusters of celebrating families, past handshakes and congratulations, his focus never wavered. By the time he reached the bleachers, she was gone. The seat was empty. His pulse tightened. He scanned the area quickly. And then he saw her walking toward the edge of the parking lot. Alone. Not rushing. Not hiding. Almost as if she knew he would follow. "Ma'am," Cole called out firmly. She stopped. Slowly turned. Up close, she looked even younger than he expected. Early 20s. Steady eyes. No fear in her expression. "Yes, Commander?" she asked. The way she said it, not guessing his rank, not hesitating, sent another ripple of unease through him. His gaze dropped briefly to her wrist. The tattoo was fully visible now. Sharp lines. Exact detailing. Impossible to fake without knowing its meaning. "Where did you get that?" he asked quietly. She followed his eyes. Then looked back at him. "I didn't get it," she said calmly. "I was born into it." The words hit harder than any explosion he had heard in combat. Cole felt the world narrow. "That insignia belongs to a classified unit," he said carefully. "One that doesn't officially exist." Her expression didn't change. "I know," she replied. The pause. The wind moved between them, carrying distant sounds of celebration that now felt worlds away. "My name is Elena Reyes," she said. The name struck like a bullet. The missing operative. The one they never recovered. Cole's voice lowered. Mason Reyes had no surviving family. Her eyes softened slightly, but her posture remained firm. "That's what you were told." Silence. Heavy. Measured. "And if I told you," she continued, "that the mission didn't end the way you think it did?" For the first time in years, Commander Ethan Cole felt uncertainty. Not on a battlefield, but in a parking lot, facing a woman who carried a symbol from a mission buried in secrets, and a name that should have stayed in the past. The wind moved quietly across the parking lot, but neither of them noticed. Commander Ethan Cole stood still, eyes locked on Elena Reyes. A name carved into a memorial wall. A name spoken at a closed-door ceremony where no cameras were allowed. A name the team had carried like unfinished business for 8 long years. "That mission ended in a sandstorm," Cole said carefully. "Extraction failed. Comms were lost. Your father was declared Kia." Elena didn't flinch. "That's the report," she replied. "Not the truth." Cole's jaw tightened. He had replayed that night more times than he cared to admit. The desert had turned violent without warning. Visibility gone. Helicopter forced to pull back. Mason Reyes volunteering to stay behind to secure the final evac route. "I'll buy you the window," Mason had said over the radio. Then static. Then silence. "You're saying he survived?" Cole asked. Elena reached into her jacket slowly, deliberate, non-threatening, and pulled out something wrapped in protective plastic. A weathered patch. Faded. Burn-marked at the edges. The same classified insignia stitched into it. Cole felt his pulse spike. "He made it out of the storm," Elena said quietly. "But not out of the region." The words hung between them. "Captured?" Cole asked. She nodded once. "He was held for years. Off the grid. Moved between sites that don't officially exist. He escaped twice. Failed both times." Cole's mind raced. If that were true, it meant intelligence had missed something. Or worse, buried something. "How do you know this?" he demanded. Her eyes didn't waver. "Because he came back." The world seemed to tilt. "What?" "Not to the military," she clarified. "To me." She took a slow breath. "He found his way out 3 years ago. Crossed borders. Changed names. Stayed invisible. He knew if he surfaced officially, it would create international fallout. The mission was never meant to be acknowledged." Cole's chest tightened. "Where is he now?" Elena's expression shifted, not fear, not pride. Resolve. "He died 6 months ago." The words hit differently this time. Not like a battlefield loss. Like something stolen quietly. "He didn't want recognition," she continued. "He didn't want medals. He wanted one thing. Cole already knew. To know if the team made it out, she said softly. Silence settled heavy between them. He kept this, she held up the patch slightly. And he gave me this. She turned her wrist again. The two. Said it meant brotherhood. Said it meant you never leave a man behind. Cole swallowed. We thought we lost him, he said, voice lower now. You didn't leave him, Elena replied. You survived. That's what he wanted. In the distance, cheers from the graduation field rose again, young SEALs celebrating the beginning of their journey. But here, in the quiet space between past and present, something else was happening. Closure. Cole looked at the tattoo one more time. A mark that should not exist. But did. Why come today? He asked. Elena's answer was simple. Because I wanted to see the men he trusted. For the first time since he'd seen the ink, Commander Ethan Cole felt something other than shock. He felt responsibility. And Part 4 would decide what he did with it. The sounds of celebration from the graduation field drifted faintly across the base. New SEALs were shaking hands. Families were crying with pride. Cameras were flashing. But Commander Ethan Cole stood still in the parking lot, staring at the faded patch in Elena Reyes' hand. Mason Reyes. The man they had mourned. The man they believed they lost to a storm. The man who had survived alone. For years. Cole exhaled slowly. 8 years of guilt pressed against his chest, and now, something else replaced it. Responsibility. You said he didn't want recognition, Cole said quietly. Elena nodded. He said the mission wasn't about medals. It was about making sure his team made it home. Cole closed his eyes briefly. That sounded exactly like Mason. Always last on the extraction bird. Always volunteering for rear security. Always making sure everyone else moved first. He watched the news, Elena continued. Every time your unit deployed, he followed it quietly. He was proud. He never blamed any of you. The weight of those words settled deeply. For years, Cole had wondered if he could have done something differently. Sent one more signal. Stayed 1 minute longer. But Mason had never carried that blame. He had carried loyalty. Cole opened his eyes again and looked toward the graduation field. Young warriors stood proudly in formation, men who believed brotherhood meant something unbreakable. And it did. He turned back to Elena. Walk with me, he said. They crossed the pavement together and approached the edge of the field. The ceremony had officially ended, but many SEALs were still gathered in small groups. When they saw Commander Cole returning, conversations softened. He stepped onto the platform once more. Attention on deck. The command rang out. The field snapped to silence instantly. Cole stood tall, but his voice, when he spoke, carried something deeper than authority. Today, he began, we celebrate warriors who have completed one of the hardest trainings in the world. He paused. But there are warriors whose stories are never told. The graduates listened closely. There was a man, Cole continued, who wore this uniform, who stood in formations like this, who volunteered to stay behind so his team could live. A subtle shift passed through the older operators nearby. They knew. Mason Reyes, Cole said clearly. The name rippled across the field. He was declared lost in action 8 years ago. But he survived longer than anyone knew. And he never stopped being a SEAL. Silence deepened. He never asked for recognition. Never asked for ceremony. But he believed in one thing above all else. Cole looked at the formation. Brotherhood. Then he did something unexpected. He stepped down from the platform and gestured for Elena to join him. Whispers moved through the crowd as she approached. This, Cole said firmly, is his daughter. Every SEAL on that field straightened instinctively. Elena Reyes. The wind moved softly across the flags behind them. She carries his mark, Cole continued. And she carries his story. Without another word, Commander Ethan Cole snapped to attention. And he saluted her. Not casually. Not symbolically. With full military precision. One by one, the SEALs followed. Then the officers. Then the graduates. An entire field of warriors standing in silence. Saluting a legacy. Elena's eyes glistened, but she held her composure, just like her father would have. For the first time, The mission that never officially existed had found closure. Not through classified reports. Not through secret files. But through honor. As the salutes lowered, Cole spoke one final time. In this brotherhood, no one is ever truly left behind. The sun dipped lower over the base, casting long shadows across the field. A father's sacrifice had come full circle. And the mark that should not have existed now stood proudly in the open.